execution in the chamber.
Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas stalk a pair of deadly lions called the Ghost and the Darkness.
And Samuel L. Jackson helps Gina Davis uncover her lethal past in A Long Kiss Goodnight.
Commissioner has a file on Sam. It might also tell us who else is involved, who is pulling the strings, making decisions.
Adam, just stop this, okay? Those files are sealed by the state legislature. If your client won't sign, you cannot move the court to unseal them.
A young lawyer from up north deals with a southern governor's aide in an attempt to discover old secrets in the chamber, one of the new movies we'll be reviewing this week. I'm Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune.
And I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. The Chamber is the second recent movie based on a novel by John Grisham, who often combines the drama of Southern racism with the suspense of a courtroom climax. In July, we got A Time to Kill, a rape and revenge story with local Klansmen operating behind the scenes. And now The Chamber tells the story of a Klan killer whose bomb maimed a Jewish civil rights lawyer and killed his young sons. The old man is on death row. His grandson hates his ideology, but wants to save him from the gas chamber. He also has doubts his grandfather acted alone. Chris O'Donnell and Gene Hackman star.
There's not a chance in hell you could have built a timing device by yourself. The FBI, they searched your house, your garage, your premises. They didn't find a single trace of explosives anywhere.
Well, maybe they're stupid.
The Hackman character still hates blacks and Jews and has nothing but contempt for his grandson's legal efforts.
If you spend half as much time learning to be a lawyer instead of playing Dick Tracy, I might stand a chance of not being dead in 5 days.
But is it ever too late to change? A prison guard, played by Bo Jackson, says the old man may have had a softening of the heart.
Everybody knows that Sam has a real bad attitude toward black folk. But just the other night he told me to my face when he said stuff like that, let's just say he tried to apologize.
The Chamber tells a sometimes absorbing story, and it has a savage performance by Gene Hackman, but it left me with some big questions. Yes, the bad guys lose in the end, but in the meantime, isn't a movie like this exploiting some very, very offensive language just in the name of entertainment? It's a thriller using taboo racist attitudes and language as spice and titillation, and it left me feeling very disturbed. Thumbs down.
Thumbs way down for me for the exact same reason. It's an insult. You're right. The stuff is trotted out. It's presented as sheer excitement. And just like the Klan was portrayed it so colorfully in A Time to Kill, and remember, I really jumped all over that picture for that. Again here, you sit there, of course I'm Jewish, I'm sitting there listening to these things being said. Okay, you're going to play in this turf, then let's see what you're going to do responsibly with it, if you want to get that dangerous with these incendiary words. And it's a soft-headed film.
When Hackman is leaving death row and he kind of exchanges those significant glances with all the black guys who are still there, come on, those guys are going to...
They want to lynch him.
I know. They're not going to smile at him and so forth because they can somehow sense that somehow his soul has changed. It's just junk.
And what is... Good. I'm glad you call it junk. What is this movie really about? Is it about a father and a grandfather?
The opportunity to get mileage with this old stuff and then, of course, go through the form at the end. Now, a lot of younger people, and younger people go to the movies, haven't really necessarily heard a lot of those cliches.
Isn't that wonderful?
They're all 20, 30, 40 years old, but now they're getting new currency, and it's not a good thing.
Yes, that's wonderful that they put this out in the culture. Okay, next movie, and our next film is The Ghost and the Darkness, and I was surprised that I got caught up in this adventure story about an Irish railroad engineer and a professional hunter teaming up to kill 2 man-eating lions in turn-of-the-century Africa. Val Kilmer plays quite well the engineer who comes to Africa in 1898 to help build a transcontinental railroad, but he soon is faced with a pair of lions who invade his camp and drag off workers.
How many have they killed?
About 30, I should think.
Out of nowhere comes an American big game hunter offering help. Now, this character is a total invention from the real story, and Michael Douglas, I think, is too much of a 20th century man to play him convincingly.
Now, I'm going to help you by killing the lions and then leaving. And you're going to help me by doing what I say so I can't leave. You see a problem with that?
Actually, no.
Let us prepare for battle.
The two men and the natives do hunt the lions, and the tension that the film develops is quite real. The Ghost and the Darkness are the nicknames that these lions have. Now, this doesn't sound like a movie that would be made or would work today at all. Killing animals, even man-eaters, is not relevant to most contemporary lives, but I found that Val Kilmer's conviction in his character makes us care about the outcome, and I give the movie a marginal thumbs up.
Boy, Gene, this one is on my list of the worst movies of the year. I was shocked by this movie, and there's one scene in particular I'm going to tell you, and that's when Kilmer builds that rickety little platform and stands up on top of it so that when the lion comes, he can shoot him, and then he's knocked off the platform by a big bird. Throughout this movie, I found both of the performances to be very unconvincing. Kilmer with that really kind of 1990s haircut that never gets a half an inch longer, and he's got the moose in it, and then Douglas, who looks like some kind of a hippie from a Grateful Dead concert. I mean, in the 19th century, a professional game hunter would have looked very sleek and taken a lot of pride in his appearance. This guy looks like a bum.
Douglas doesn't work, but Val Kilmer, I'm sorry, Val Kilmer to me was absolutely, first of all, what's interesting about his character is he's presented as totally in love with Africa, and we sense the wonder of Africa. I know you've been there, I've been there. His feeling was transmitted through me, the feelings that I had when I was there. The next thing is, I think he's stunned by what he has to do, and we see him grow into the character. I think it's a fully developed character.
How about the lion attacks? Didn't they look phony to you? A lot of the times it just looked like a lion's head was being shaken in front of the camera.
It wasn't that bad. Roger, I know that this is not a trendy picture to say that you actually liked. I found that I did.
I'm happy for you. When we come back, Gina Davis is both a small-town mom and a professional assassin in The Long Kiss Goodnight.
Give me something else.
Celery! Italian!
Saying is, back when we first met, you were all like, oh, phooey, I burned the darn muffins. Now, you go into a bar, 10 minutes later, sailors come running out. What up with that?
She's had amnesia for the last 8 years, but now she's beginning to revert to her former identity. And a suburban mom, played there by Gina Davis, is discovering she was once a highly trained government assassin. Samuel L. Jackson is the private eye she hired to help her discover her past, and now he's along for the ride in The Long Kiss Goodnight as federal bad guys try to kill their former agent. Brian Cox plays her one-time CIA boss who's on her side but thought she was dead all these years.
Your memory was gone, you got confused, you bought your own cover. It was a fantasy, for Christ's sake. Samantha Kane never existed. You wrote the bloody thing.
No, it's not a fantasy. I'm in the MPTA.
Then quit.
Davis has disguised herself with a new hair color, but her enemies just keep on coming. The movie is like The Perils of Pauline. She's threatened with being shot, blown up, and drowned, and here she faces death by freezing.
Please. Let my kid go.
I'm about all out of favors there, Chuck. I'm already letting you spend time with the kid while you freeze to death.
The Long Kiss Goodnight has a lot of energy and a lot of craftsmanship, and it will probably do the job for action fans. But for me, it just seemed to be going through the high-tech motions.
Gee, I didn't feel that way. I did at the beginning. I thought, oh, we're going over the same turf. Then the sheer bravado of, can you top this, with one thing after another, won me over. I mean, here you have Gina Davis being directed by her husband, Rennie Harlan, and I don't know what their psychological connection is together. I sat there and I was stunned at just what she is put through. You call it the Pauline. I mean, there's some spectacular stuff that's done here.
The odd thing is, I preferred Cutthroat Island, which was a box office.
That was awful.
And that was not. It was the same movie. It was just a pirate picture instead of set today.
Oh, no.
But the stunts in that one were truly amazing.
No. This is a picture, and this picture has a very smart screenplay by Shane Black. There's some quirky dialogue in here. Samuel L. Jackson's character. They have an interesting chemistry between them because it's not romantic. It's action-filled and smart and funny.
I really don't think this is the screenplay I'm going to be singling out as one of the great screenplays of the year. I mean, first of all, it couldn't have been written if Pulp Fiction hadn't existed.
I agree, but I'm telling you that, well, Shane Black has had some other good screen credits.
Sure, you bet. You remember all of The Last Boy Scout, wasn't that his?
That was his, and that had some very funny dialogue and quirky dialogue in it, too. Very good.
Okay, coming up next, Al Pacino directs himself while he tackles Shakespeare in a way that's never been done before in Looking for Richard.
Scarface with me.
Shakespeare used a lot of fancy words, you know, and it's hard to understand those, grasp those words.
Excuse me, they're not fancy words. I think that's where we get confused.
Putting them together.
But that's poetry, though. It's hard to grab hold of some rap, slang, too. But it's hard to get hold of it until your ear gets tuned.
That's Al Pacino taking us behind the scenes in his new film, Looking for Richard, a bold and quite successful attempt to deal with the challenge of presenting Shakespeare's tragedy of Richard III to a mass audience. Pacino directs himself as the conniving hunchback king, and the movie acknowledges up front that this play is difficult to understand.
I can't even get Richard III. It's too complicated.
And so, and this is a great help, we see, for example, Pacino and his filmmaking colleague, Frederick Kimball, argue over the interpretation of a scene.
It's only an opinion.
Right.
It's never a question of someone being right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong.
It's an opinion. And as a scholar has a right to an opinion as any of us.
But why does he get to speak directly to the camera?
I don't really know why he needed to marry her historically. I simply don't know.
The cast is full of American stars, including Alec Baldwin as Richard's older brother, the Duke of Clarence.
Now, if Richard's brother Edward was king, right, and then he dies, Clarence, his other brother, is next in line, right?
No, the kids were next in line. And after the king's kids came Clarence.
So Richard figured, let me get rid of Clarence, and then I'll work out how I get rid of the kids.
I think Al Pacino has done a great service to the craft of acting and to the appreciation of the glory of Shakespeare with Looking for Richard. It's an exciting, funny, fascinating film, perfect for high school students studying Shakespeare, and I just wish Pacino would give more of the Bard's plays this same treatment. A big thumbs up for me on Looking for Richard. I'm really impressed with this film.
You know, I liked it too, and I'll tell you, as I watched this film, I had the sneaky feeling that when they started, they had no idea what they were doing, that they didn't have a master plan, and then it turned out that it was just one right decision after another that led to this wonderful documentary in which you have a few scenes in costume of Shakespeare, a few rehearsal scenes of Shakespeare, and then Pacino and the other actors discussing, first of all, how do you make it clear to the audience who all these people are? There are a lot of people on stage when the movie starts, and unless you know your Shakespeare history cold, you're going to be confused by who the players
are. And your
are.
English history,
yes,
too, which I think they did a beautiful job in setting that up. I mean, the War of the Roses, they explained that before. And I'll tell you, if you were going to show this film before kids read the play, this would be a wonderful device.
And not just kids, college students, too, and for that matter, me. And I did a source study on Richard III as a graduate student, and I learned a lot. From this movie.
Yes, a lot of people hide behind saying how great a play is of Shakespeare's, and they don't know it the way this film knows it. This is a major achievement, and I'm seriously thinking about putting this film on my 10 best list. It's that good of an achievement.
Okay, when we come back, a serial killer meets his match with a runaway delinquent in Freeway.
You know, you should just let me out of the car when I asked you to, Bob. See where bad manners get you? You see?
With hemorrhoids, sitting can be torture, but Hemorrhoid has a pain reliever that works on contact. Preparation H doesn't. Hemorrhoid shrinks swelling and relieves burn and itch. It's complete enough to tame the toughest seat. Only Hemorrhoid is this complete.
In some places, this isn't a big family. It's a small town. And it's not so easy to please everyone. It's a good thing we got Prime Star. With up to 95 channels in digital picture and sound, it is a cornucopia of viewing possibilities. And the big guy? I haven't seen him this happy in years. He didn't have to buy the dish. Prime Star is a service, so there's no equipment to buy. And it all starts at about $1 a day. Enjoy.
For the best value in satellite TV, call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
With hemorrhoids, sitting can be torture, but Hemorrhoid has a maximum strength ingredient to shrink swelling, and Anusol doesn't. Hemorrhoid stops pain and relieves burn and itch. It's complete enough to tame the toughest seat. Only Hemorrhoid is this complete.
Now we come to a new film named Freeway that contains several brilliant performances in the service of a story that's as horrifying in its way as Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. The movie stars Reese Witherspoon as a lower-class teenage girl whose mother and stepfather are busted for prostitution and drugs. After they're gone, Witherspoon escapes from a family services officer and goes on the road hoping to reach her grandmother's house. When her stolen car breaks down, she's given a ride by a friendly stranger, played by Kiefer Sutherland.
So, what'd I call you?
I'm sorry, my name is Bob Wolverton.
I'm Vanessa Lutz.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Vanessa. Why don't you put on your safety belt and we'll get going.
He sounds like a reasonable and helpful man, but somehow we know better, and before long the girl discovers he's a serial killer who plans to make her his next victim.
You that guy on the news?
I'm sorry?
You the guy that's been killing all them girls on the freeway, Bob? Why are you killing all them girls, Bob?
Because I've absolutely reached my limit with people like you, Vanessa.
In defending herself, she disfigures him horribly, and then, of course, no one will believe her line about her self-defense, and she's pretty bad at generating sympathy.
Holy sh... Look who got beat with the ugly stick. Is that you, Bob?
It's a great performance. Kiefer Sutherland balances it with a truly inspired villain, and the movie is filled with fine acting. It was written and directed by Matthew Bright, who wrote the Drew Barrymore movie Gun Crazy that I liked a few years ago. Freeway is compulsively watchable, and Reese Witherspoon's performance, she's still not even 20 years old, gives promise of an exciting career.
I think that's absolutely true. She really takes, this is a performance that could fall flat on its face. This is a performance that if you don't really care about her at some level, you're going to say this is an exploitive movie, like we were talking about earlier, the Grisham film, exploiting violent activities. But this picture is clearly a commentary on the violent lives being led today, the serial killers, and so it really is a parody, an homage to Little Red Riding Hood. Going to grandmother's house and finding real dangers along the way.
If there's one flaw in the film, it's that the ending, first of all, is too peremptory, and a couple of times the director seems to be trying to make it
too cute.
A little too cute.
Yes, that happens from time to time.
Yeah, but it's a good film. Coming up next, the revolving thumb goes around and around.
This isn't a desert. It's my dry skin under magnification. And dermatologists recommend Curel lotion to heal it. After 2 hours, Lubriderm and Carry leave your skin thirsty for moisture, while Curel increases your skin's moisture level 129%. So Curel heals dry skin better. You can see the cure in Curel. For healthy-looking skin, see the cure in Curel Alpha Hydroxy Lotion.
I see you're drinking Tropicana Pure Premium's new Tangerine Orange. Nothing quite like it, is there, miss? Somewhere between smooth and sweet and tangy. Schwangy kind of captures it, wouldn't you say? Hey, as long as you're happy. New Tangerine Orange from Tropicana Pure Premium. Perfect.
And now it's time for our new feature, The Revolving Thumb, praise for and rants against filmmakers and trends in the movie world. And one positive trend I've noticed recently is the strength of roles for women in the movies, to the point that women's roles are now consistently more interesting than those of men. Here are some current examples. The hot-to-trot conniving neighbors stealing from the mob in Bound.
I still don't see how I'm going to get away clean with all the money in the apartment.
The mother hiding a secret about a baby given up for adoption in Secrets and Lies. The singer-songwriter in Grace of My Heart. The heroine of Emma. The decent, hard-working pregnant police chief in Fargo.
It's just morning sickness. Well, that passed.
And yes, even this week, Reese Witherspoon in Freeway and Gina Davis's action hero in The Long Kiss Goodnight. How to explain this? Maybe screenwriters are starting to take male characters for granted. They're so often just pieces to move around in action films. Maybe now to get a movie with a major woman's role made, you simply have to write it better, and we're seeing the results of that better writing. Maybe the effect of more women executives is finally being felt in the movie industry. Whatever the reason, 1996 might honestly come to be known as the year of the woman in Hollywood. And for that, the thumb revolves and points up.
You know, that's right. For years, actresses have complained there are no roles for them, and suddenly,
lots of roles.
There are roles. And now, once again, the thumb goes around and around, and for me this week, it points to an interesting phenomenon I've noticed recently in a lot of movies. All those scenes where characters run real fast or ride real fast, so fast they can outrun the fireball of an explosion that is right behind them. For example, in Chain Reaction, Keanu Reeves must have a really speedy motorcycle there. In Mission Impossible, an explosion in the tunnel can't catch Tom Cruise. In Under Siege 2, Steven Seagal was able to run so fast that he could jump out of one end of a train while the other end was crashing. And in The Long Kiss Goodnight, Gina Davis and Samuel Jackson outrun a big explosion. Now, the latest figures I've been able to get my hands on indicate that although your average movie actor might be able to run 100 yards in under 20 seconds, it would take the fireball from an explosion a fraction of 1 second to cover that same distance. Just another little scientific insight as the revolving thumb goes around and around, and for the practice of outrunning fireballs, it points down.
Well, you know, the movie that started all this is Raiders of the Lost Ark with that great scene. Spielberg again shows his influence. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this show. 2 thumbs down for The Chamber, a film that exploits racism for dramatic effect. A split vote on The Ghost in the Darkness. I sort of liked it, and especially Val Kilmer's performance, but Roger thought it was one of the most inept adventure movies he's ever seen. We split on The Long Kiss Goodnight. I liked its high energy and its quirky screenplay by Shane Black. Roger thought it was just going through the motions rather rapidly. 2 thumbs up, way up for Al Pacino's highly original Looking for Richard, a celebration of Shakespeare and of actors and of scholars. And 2 thumbs up for Freeway with Reese Witherspoon in a violent, darkly satiric update of the Little Red Riding Hood story. And now for something new on the Siskel&Ebert Show. For years, every week we hear from viewers who have their own opinions about our reviews. Well, now we're giving you a chance to talk back to us right here on our show.
That's right. In a new segment called The Viewer's Thumb, we're asking you to record your opinion of a movie or something said on this show on a 20-second home videotape and send it to us.
You can make a pretty good point in 20 seconds. Now, when you tape yourself, get close to the camera. Head and shoulders, just like this. That's what we want to see. And periodically, we are going to select one viewer's tape and show it, and then we'll respond to it.
Okay, send your home videos to The Viewer's Thumb, Box 4400, Chicago, Illinois, 60680. That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with reviews of more new movies, including Sleepers, a revenge thriller starring Brad Pitt, Jason Patric, Robert De Niro, and Dustin Hoffman, and To Jillian on her 37th birthday, starring Michelle Pfeiffer. That's next week, and until then, the balcony is closed.
When you first play Monopoly CD-ROM, you think, wow, this game comes to life. I can play on the net. Then, bam, you get tossed in jail. The thimble buys the best properties. Well, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Monopoly CD-ROM.
What's for dinner? New classic char-grilled fillets, only from Gorton's. Thick, flaky fish, seared with char-grilled flavor. Trust the Gorton's fishermen.
Now there's an easy, simple way to make VHS video copies. The Go Video Dual Deck VCR. Place the original tape here, and an exact copy comes out here.
With a home equity loan from the Money Store, you can consolidate bills, make home improvements, even buy a car. Call the Money Store at 1-800-LOAN-YES.